What's up, guys? Zack Hample here with you, wearing a very old t-shirt because we're gonna play a little show and tell, and the thing I'm gonna show you is also very old and goes with this shirt. So you ready for it? Check this out. This little thing right here is one of the coolest baseball items that I own. It is a championship ring from a professional baseball team, and it has my name on the side. I'm not sure if you can see it there, it might be a little blurry, but I will show you some better shots of this thing in just a minute or two after I tell you the story of how this ring came into my possession, because the whole thing is kind of amazing. So the story begins right after I graduated from high school. I took a year off before I went to college, a gap year. Shout out to my mom for suggesting that I do that in the first place. The first thing I did during that year was head out to Boise, Idaho, because I was lucky enough to get an internship with a minor league baseball team there, the Boise Hawks, a short season A-ball team, so fairly low down on the totem pole in professional baseball in the Northwest League, all right? And at the time, they were affiliated with the Angels, but minor league teams change their major league affiliates all the time. So after that, they became a Cubs affiliate for a while. Now they're a Rockies affiliate. But anyway, I gotta be straight up when I say that that summer that I worked for the Boise Hawks was the best summer of my life, and it's not even close, and I am not being sarcastic. You might be wondering, some of you guys, like, really? Your best summer was in Idaho of all places? And yeah, it was. Because I was a teenager, wildly obsessed with baseball. It's like now there's other things that I enjoy doing in life, but back then baseball was the only thing that I enjoyed. And here I was working for a professional baseball team. I was often at the stadium 16 hours a day when the team was home. And this was an unpaid internship. I did not earn a penny over the course of the entire summer, but I could not have been happier. There was no place else in the world where I would have rather been. And now at the end of this summer, the Hawks ended up winning the championship. And I was gone. I was back home in New York weeks later, and this little box arrived in the mail. And I had never had a conversation with anybody at the Hawks about a championship ring. Inside that box was this ring with my name on it. Someone there decided to hook me up, put me on the list, and get me a ring. So now I mentioned that the team was an Angels affiliate at the time. Well, back then, the Angels, they were not called the Los Angeles Angels, they were called the California Angels. So that's why you can see a big CA on the ring. And with that, we will transition into some close-ups of this thing. So you can see the CA, really nice fancy font in gold over that blue background. And then around the edges, it says Northwest League Champions. Then on one side of the ring, it says 1995 NWL for Northwest League, of course, with that logo of the shield, the league's logo. And on the other side of the ring, that's clearly the best part, it says my name right there, Hample, right above that snazzy Boise Hawks logo. So again, just a few more shots of this thing to show you what the whole thing looks like. And yeah, this is truly one of the best baseball items, even just take baseball out of it, just one of the best items, period, that I own in life. I feel like if my house were on fire and I could only grab a few things, this would definitely be one of them, and it would be easier to grab than some other things because it's so small. But with that said, I want to show you some photos that I took back at the time in Idaho, back in 1995, using a very crappy old camera, so you'll have to forgive the photo quality. But let's just jump right into it, because this really captures what my life was like that summer, life at the stadium, and just life in minor league baseball. So here's the first one, a nice look outside the stadium. That's the whole thing. Minor league baseball stadiums are really small. And we'll just transition right to the inside. Here's what that looked like, nice and early in the day before it was open to the public. I loved being able to wander around the stadium and even down onto the field at any point. Batting practice was always pretty low key, but the games themselves did draw pretty solid crowds. See the little structure at the top of the grandstand? That was the press box. Always a nice place to visit, but my favorite spot was the home team's dugout, accessible from a walkway underneath the seats. Most of my work took place early in the day, so once the games got started, I was usually free to do whatever I wanted. Now, if you're wondering about the clubhouse, that was very small, but it was cool just to be in there. Here's the clubhouse guy in the laundry room, and here I am in my official Hawks employee outfit. The office was also small, but again, it was all fascinating to me. I had so much fun being behind the scenes, hanging out with team employees and players and all sorts of characters. The shirtless wonder right here, that was Joe, the head groundskeeper. He never wore a shirt, even when he was out on the field meeting my parents at the end of the summer. And I gotta say that Joe is an amazing guy. I'm using the present tense because we are still in touch. We are still great friends. I actually just talked to him on the phone for an hour the other night. He's on the West Coast. So much love to Joe. You better be watching this video. When my parents came to visit, they brought the family palm quarter, this big clunky ancient piece of technology that filmed videos onto actual tapes, all right? So my dad and I kind of tag teamed filming different things, and I just want to show you some of that footage because, I mean, as cool as the photos are, I just feel like video really takes you into the moment. So let's just transition into a selfie shot.
Hello! Here we are in beautiful, scenic Idaho, Boise to be exact, and I'm here at Memorial Stadium. Are you getting dizzy yet?
And so with that, let's move over to some batting practice footage. Look closely at that little white speck moving around in left center field. That's me. As you might expect, I was always thrilled when the Hawks let me run around in the outfield and help them shag baseballs. I wasn't able to catch that last one, but here I am shuffling over to my left and making a play. This next clip shows me playing catch with a pitcher named Edwin Avila, who unfortunately never made it to the show. And check this out. I mentioned that I worked as a groundskeeper for the team. Well, here's some video evidence, carrying a small rolled up tarp off the field and then watering down the infield dirt. I felt like a total rock star out there. Look at this. Here I am actually putting third base into the ground. How cool is that? Shout out to my dad for filming, but once the game got underway, I took the camera and wandered all over the place. First, I dropped by the press box. You can see the view of the field from up there. And then I headed down to the ticket office. Check out those super old school computers. That is hilarious. And then I poked my head into the clubhouse. That's the team's general manager pretending to be camera shy. Shout out to him for putting up with me all summer. And finally, please forgive this shaky camera work, but I was heading to the seats behind the plate to film a bit of the game. Check it out. How fun was that? I just love the thought, the notion, all these decades after my dad and I filmed that stuff, which, let's be real, we were only filming it for ourselves. I mean, maybe I showed it to my best friend from high school at the time. That I've been able to take that footage and now put it on the internet, on YouTube, for everybody to see. I'm sure tens of thousands of people are gonna end up watching this. Maybe 100,000 or more, who knows? You can't really predict these things, but just the joy that I'm getting from sharing it, I really appreciate that. So a sincere thanks to you for watching. And you know, I'm just in reminiscing mode right now, and I'm thinking about all those employees who worked for the Hawks while I was there. I would bet a large sum of money that none of them are still with the Hawks. That was a long time ago, and there's a lot of turnover in minor league baseball, but wherever those folks are now, I'm thinking about them. Shout out to them. Shout out to the entire Boise Hawks team. Shout out to the Angels organization. You know, I'm feeling the love to such an extent right now. I want to give a shout out to the entire state of Idaho. I didn't just spend all my time at the stadium. Yes, I worked crazy hours, but I was able to explore not just Boise, but the state overall, got out into nature, did some pretty cool stuff. I mean, for a city boy like me, I remember getting up into the mountains with my host family. We went lizard hunting. It was just gorgeous up there, and no lizards were actually harmed. We caught them in nets, looked at them, maybe freaked them out a little bit, and then released them. But just, it was so cool. And that host family, I gotta give them a huge shout out. The Spizers, Gail Spicer, I'm still in touch with her. Her husband Stan, their son Jeremy, they were all amazing and made my time out there so much better. So yeah, I guess if there's one last thing that I'll tell you, because I'm going to assume that at least a few of you guys are curious which players on the Hawks ended up making it to the major leagues. Well, they were 4 guys. Jared Washburn was the biggest name, lefty starter, really talented, had a pretty good career. And as for the other guys, well, there was a dude named Trent Durrington. I remember him very well. He was Australian. Very, very nice guy. There was another player named Justin Bogman who really just had a cup of coffee. And then there was a righty pitcher named Brian Cooper. This photo right there up on the screen is a pic that I took of him after he reached the major leagues. I couldn't find his baseball card just now in the team set. I need to get better organized over here. I think it's in storage somewhere. I had the other ones scanned from a while back. But yeah, congrats to those guys. And yeah, I guess I'll just leave you with one last look at this ring. It is a little bit too big for my finger. I don't know if you can see this, but there's some space right there. So when I wear it, it can kind of slide to the side easily. So I need to take this to some jewelry store and have them resize it, put something on the inside so it's tighter on my hand, because I wear this on very rare occasions and I always feel so good with it on my hand. And I want to start wearing it more, not to games, because I'm always running around trying to catch baseballs and I'm afraid that I would whack it on a chair, or like grabbing a ball, it could scuff on the ground. But you know, when I'm not playing contact sports, this might be a cool thing to wear more often. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this installment of Show and Tell. I have some other cool things here that I'm planning to show in future videos coming up. Maybe an entire video about my lineup cards collection. Stay tuned for that. As always, if you have ideas for videos that you want to see, leave a comment for me. And that's about it. Thanks again for watching. And I will, gotta show you the whole shirt. Boise Hawks, baby. There it is. Anyway, with that, I am out. Good day and goodbye.